Yo, miss me. Welcome back to a one-on-one with Ted. Hey guys, nice to see y'all. I'm here to just talk about the excellence of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I think I've done this before, but since let me check the record. Their 16 win streak was recently snapped by Orlando. Surprisingly, Orlando is getting back on track. This is a very good win for them. Paolo had a decent game, not the best. 27% is gross, I can't lie. Shot good from three, though. Got to the line. That's what you need from your star, no matter what. Franz didn't play the best, but everybody else really just played their role perfectly. And what I was watching, to be honest, from that game was just like, I saw a big fall off with Donovan Mitchell in the way that he was playing. Especially after he got that posterizer, he kind of like just kept chucking threes, and none of them were going. Wasn't making his lays. He just had a really bad fourth quarter, to be honest. The whole Cavs did. Their offense stagnated. They were up by like 9, and then they just couldn't score anymore. Like, and that happens in NBA games. That happens when you're on fire. Sometimes the fire goes out and it gets very, very spooky. But it's okay. The Cavs are still going to be one of the best teams heading into the playoffs. One of the scariest teams heading into the playoffs. But I'm going to go more into that later. They just were on a 16-game win streak. Those wins include teams like the Grizzlies, who are a good team this season. They beat the Bucks, good team this season. They also beat the Celtics, good team this season. They beat the Grizzlies twice. Whoa, they blew the Knicks. The Knicks they got killed. They beat the Knicks by like 30. I will never forget that. That was a crazy-ass game. But yeah, they also beat the Timberwolves, who have been rolling recently. They beat, and to start off their win streak, they beat the Pistons. The Pistons are still one of my favorite teams in the league. They're the 6th seed. Going on a little rough patch. They lost to the Wizards, and they just lost to the Thunder. But other than that, still a team I think no real team wants to face for a 7-game series because they have such an engine like Cade Cunningham. That's neither here nor there, though. I'm not going to get into that. We're talking about the Cavs today. So for the Cavs, they're second in points per game, second in field goal percentage, first in three-point percentage. They're a great defensive team. They're good at holding their opponents to bad shooting games. So what are they bad at, or what are their negatives? Let's start there because I have a lot more positives about them. So like it's not even like gonna be a long segment, to be honest. Some things that I see about the Cavs that I don't necessarily like or love is I love Donovan Mitchell. I think he's one of the more underrated players in the league, but I do have to understand that he is not a top 10 player, or he's not like in the tier 1 of stars. And that's something that I think you need to be a true champion. If you look at the last, how many rings? Let's see. Ever since the Spurs' last ring, when they won in 2014 off of that team-based basketball, that amazing ball movement, probably one of the best ball movement seasons from a team we think we've ever seen. Every team that has won a ring has had a star that's in that tier 1. 2015, the Warriors. 2016, the Cavs. Then it's the Warriors. They had 2 tier 1s. Then after that, it was Toronto, Kawhi Leonard, a tier 1. 2020, it's the Lakers, LeBron and AD, both tier 1s. Then after that, the Bucks, Giannis, tier 1. After that, that was the Warriors again. I'm sorry. I get the Warriors and Denver one at this, like in the 2020s mixed up. But the Warriors, tier 1, Denver, tier 1. 2024, we got the Celtics. Jason Tatum is a tier 1 star. So once you realize that, it's like, teams that are built this way usually don't end up winning rings until they make that big move. And Donovan Mitchell is a huge move. When they got Donovan Mitchell, I thought, okay, they're going for it, because they came off a really good year with a rookie Evan Mobley and Darius Garland actually like coming into the scene in like 2021. Sorry guys, you can tell I'm not feeling well. I got the motherfucking blanket wrapped around me, like a robe and shit. I look like a pimp, low key. But for real though, I really do think that they are going for it. I think they should be going for it because they have one of the best benches in the league, as well as one of the most cohesive starting lineups. I'm gonna get more into that later. But a big concern is that they don't have that tier 1 star. And that's just something I really expect from all of my championship teams, especially if I want to have them as favorites to even make it out of the East. Another thing that I don't really like is that, like, it's kind of hard to nitpick this team. There's like a little nitpicks I can get onto. Like sometimes they get a little three-pointer happy, but that's every team in the league nowadays. Like can get stagnant. Every team gets stagnant though. When if Donovan Mitchell, Darius Garland are not on, you have to hope Ty Jerome is controlling the pace of the game off the bench, or the team is gonna look very bad. But I don't really have that many like big issues with this team. I just have a lot of things I love about it. Like, this is one of my favorite teams to watch. I love watching them work. I love watching them go on a run, especially. When they go on a run, it is some of the funnest basketball to watch because Donovan Mitchell starts making bullshit. Darius Garland knows how to pass out of any situation. He knows how to find the open man in every situation. One of the most underrated playmakers in the league. But, man, let's just talk about Evan Mobley. Fuck. Evan Mobley, man. He was my Rookie of the Year pick over Scotty Barnes that year that he was in it. I don't think he was eligible, though, because he missed too many games at the end of the year, but that's neither here nor there. I said he was going to be one of the biggest jumps. He was going to have one of the biggest jumps coming into this year. He has had that. Was he an All-Star or was it Garland? Oh, no, I think both of them were. Yeah, Evan Mobley was an All-Star this year. And he's up there for Defensive Player of the Year, in my opinion. They're one of the better defensive teams. And he is the engine. He's the motor for that defense. I'm not trying to take credit away from someone like Jared Allen or even somebody like Kenny Atkinson for coming in and revitalizing this team defensively and offensively. But the reason why he was able to revitalize it is because of the sheer impact of Evan Mobley, mainly. I'm not just going to give it all to him, but mainly. And, man, I really don't know what to say about it. Like, he's a great player. Like, he's just one of those players you want on your team because he's consistently going to have an impact. Even if it's not points, it could be anything on the court. You're going to pause. You're going to feel Evan Mobley. Chill on me. But, yeah, you're going to feel Evan Mobley. Another thing that I really love about this team is the way that their guards have been playing. Obviously, everyone loves how Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have been playing. Everyone also knows about how Ty Jerome is probably Sixth Man of the Year. They have 2 Sixth Man of the Year candidates on their team right now. Insane. And I know some people are like, I don't know if I'm trading Caris LeVert. He's one of like there was a point in time where Caris LeVert was a lot of people's like favorite player or up there for one of their favorite players, especially when he was with Brooklyn in the bubble. He was going dumb, so I respect it. But I think DeAndre Hunter's a better player. Like, definitively, he's just a better player. So it's not even like a big debate or anything to me, at least to me. Other than that, they're coached perfectly. I think Kenny Atkinson should be Coach of the Year. Everyone had this team slated for under 50 wins. I picked the over because I had him as the number 1 seed. But in case if you watch the pods, you know I'm always going to bring up when I'm right. I was right there. But yeah, Kenny Atkinson should definitely get the credit he deserves. He revitalized his team, gave them a new energy, gave a lot of the bench players some new life. Like, Ty Jerome really has some new life on this team. I thought that Craig Porter was going to get more, but he didn't really get as much as I wanted to, which is okay. It's fine. But, like, man, I really was hoping for some Craig Porter like growth because last season he had some flashes for me that was really like impressive. Same thing with like, I know this is like some old hoop mixtape shit, ball is life, but I really did think that Imani Bates' game would be able to translate to the NBA because a bucket getter is always gonna get buckets. We're seeing it right now with a few different players. Like, no matter what, if you have a bucket getter on the court, they're going to be able to score. They're going to be able to do what they're supposed to do on the court, which is get buckets. But I understand he's probably a defensive liability, and he's probably not going to get enough shots to even, like, be impactful. So it makes sense, but I still had high hopes for him. I'm not going to lie to y'all. But, yeah, Jared Allen's playing his role perfectly. Darius Garland, man, one of my favorite players. I love watching Darius Garland play basketball. I'm so happy he was able to get back to all-star level because the last few years were rough. After his initial year coming onto the scene, after being considered one of the worst point guards in the league in his first and second seasons, like statistically, he was like one of the worst guards in the league. He came in, was an all-star with the Cavs. Unfortunately, they lost to Brooklyn in the play-in, so they didn't make it. But next season, he gets another ball-dominant guard in Donovan Mitchell. Doesn't really have a direction. He has to find it himself as a young player at like 23 at the time, I think, probably even younger, trying to find his spot. He's starting to get the hang of it. They lose in the second round, I think. Oh no, they lost in the first round to the Knicks. Then after that, coming to the next season, they're looking good, they're looking cohesive, and then his jaw breaks, his mouth is wired shut, and it fucks up the way he plays basketball for the rest of the season. Because obviously, if your jaw is broken while playing basketball, it's gonna affect you mentally. That's just a natural thing that happens to basketball players. So he didn't have the best year. I'm not exempting him from that, by the way. He just didn't play well, but also there's reasons for it. And coming into this year, a lot of people didn't have high stock in Darius Garland. A lot of people thought that Darius Garland was probably going to get moved for Brandon Ingram. I remember that was a big thing, Brandon Ingram for Darius Garland, because New Orleans needed a guard at the time, and at the time also the Cavs needed a forward. But both those teams found them different levels and like different suitors. I'm happy for them. I'm happy that the Cavs decided to really lock down with the core that they have right now and be like, okay, we're going to trust Darius Garland being next to Donovan Mitchell, because that's one thing that the NBA doesn't do well enough anymore these days. It's like whenever you see a team become created or they make like a super team, they never really give time for the stars to acclimate together. Like we're seeing it right now with the Suns. They've only been together for like 3 years. It's over after this season. Like damn near confirmed Kevin Durant is leaving. And they suck. But the thing is, they went out and got Bradley Beal for no damn reason. I hold that, like that's one of the worst moves, because now they're on an immovable contract that they literally like, there's no way you're getting out of that contract. He's literally going to media talking about I still have the best job in the world. I still have my no trade. Like he's flexing on y'all. Matt Ishbia, stop star chasing. That's one thing I don't like about, like I understand new owners, go out there and spend your money, make the fans excited for you being the owner and all that. But at the end of the day, know the sport and know the direction that we're going in, because we've seen over the last like 4 or 5 years, having 2 stars isn't enough to win. Having 3 stars is not enough to win if the rest of the team is donkey shit. Like for example, the Suns got swept last season by the Timberwolves. And if you look at the Timberwolves starting 5 in comparison to the Suns, you're probably thinking, oh, there's way better players on the Suns. Like they got D-Book, they got KD, they got Brad Beal. That's like a crazy like 3 right there. And when it comes to the Timberwolves, last season it was just Ant, Cat, Rudy Gobert, which is like Rudy Gobert is not really threatening to anybody. And Cat at the time wasn't viewed the way he is now because he was playing a 4 instead of a 5. So they just viewed him as a stretch 4. But man, that team is miles better than the fucking Suns because they know how to play as a team. The Suns play like this is like, I don't even know, they play like it's Rucker Park. Like they're playing at 21. No. They just lost to a team yesterday. Let me see what the Suns lost to the other day. I literally think it was yesterday. They lost to some bum-ass team. They lost to the Lakers without LeBron by 11. Like, this game literally was not close at all. The Lakers came out punching the shit out of them, 31-15 first quarter, and it never even got close after that. D-Book played horrendously. Shout out to Ryan Dunn. I'm a big fan of Ryan Dunn's game. I think he's going to be a stud. KD didn't play well. He didn't shoot well. Shout out to Nick Richards, though. Also another stud. Great player. But, like, they're over here giving up 30 balls to Luka, damn near 30 balls to Austin Reeves, 19-6 from Jackson Hayes. That's probably the worst starting center in the league. Like, genuinely, I think Jackson Hayes, like, statistically, impact-wise, is the worst starting center in the league, other than when Luka came, because Luka always maximizes athletic bigs. That's why they got, what's his name? Daniel Gafford looking the way he's looking. That's why that Derek Lively looks the way he looked, because he knows how to maximize those players. But having Jackson Hayes go out there and drop 19-6 with a steal and a block and be a positive player against your team is a problem. Like, it's a problem, Phoenix. They are a negative team. They're 31-37. Their last win was against the Mavs, which, shit, I don't even think Mavs wins count at this point, bro. Like, they have nothing over there. That's a different video for a different time. But Najee Marshall had 34, 9, and 10 on y'all. Y'all are the worst defensive team in the league. But that's what you get for star chasing in the current climate of the NBA. If you don't have players who fit perfectly together, or if you don't have the assets to be able to star chase and keep a decent like role player rotation, you're not gonna make it in this league. These teams are not coached well enough. They got Coach Mike Budenholzer. Bro, Bucks fans hated that man. for a reason. He's not a good coach. He's not a good coach to the point where you're like, you know what? Last season we had Frank Vogel, way better coach. I understand there was locker room issues, but he's a way fucking better coach than Mike Budenholzer. But you had Frank Vogel, you're like, you know what? We need a fresher face. They didn't really believe in him anymore. We need someone to make KD, D-Book, and be a work. No, Mike Budenholzer is not the answer just because he was able to deal with Giannis, Chris Middleton, and Drew. Those are way different personalities, way different players. That's not the type of experience you need. You need someone who actually fits with them, or you just need a good coach. Mike isn't a good coach. Bud isn't a good coach. I've been saying this for fucking 4 years. I wish I started my YouTube channel longer ago so y'all could have heard this more. He's not a good coach. He's not a good coach. But man, the Suns they're a lost team. Well, other than that, the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers have that, where they have a cohesive starting lineup, they also have they probably have the best bench in the league, and they're able to make them mold perfectly together. Even when like Ty Jerome's on the court with both guards, they still work perfectly. Ty Jerome's able to play off the ball even when he's with Darius and with Donovan Mitchell. Evan Mobley's able to actually take control of a game on offense this year, which we haven't really seen from him. I remember I came out the gate saying he's a young Tim Duncan, and he's kind of showing me now. It took him a while because Tim Duncan didn't take long at all, but it took him a while. But he's showing me now. I respect it. I love that from him, for real. We see more of that from them, and I genuinely don't think that they're stoppable in the East. Only thing I can see is star power of the Celtics. I don't think there's any other Eastern Conference team that can beat them. Let me just look and think. But like I dead ass don't think. I don't think there's another Eastern Conference team that compares. Let me see. The Knicks, no. The Knicks are just bad against good teams. The Bucks, I think the Bucks are a dangerous team to face in the playoffs. I think the Bucks have a chance to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, but I've been saying that for the last few years. Giannis just has to be on the court. Giannis just has to be on the court often enough coming into a playoff series for me to really pick them at all. Like last season, he didn't play. The year before that, he only played 2 games, and he obviously rushed back into it. I know it might be listed as 3. He got injured in the first quarter of the first game, so he only played really 2 games. Probably came back injured, and the year before that, I believe they won a ring. No. The year before that, they lost to the Celtics, and it was only Giannis. That's what it was. Yeah, because Giannis got fucking Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton were injured, I think, or just Chris Middleton. One of them were hurt, but they had to go against the Celtics. Giannis had a great series, but I need to see Giannis fully healthy for the playoffs again for me to really be like, okay, yeah, they got it. They're back and they're able to be like threatening. The Pacers, I don't see it. Pistons, I love you. I don't see it. Only real threat is the Boston Celtics. And in a series right now, I think that they're better than the Celtics. The Celtics have a lot more health concerns, and they're also just not looking their best right now, which is expected. Repeating to like win an NBA championship is hard as shit. Having to like stay in that mode during the regular season to be able to get seeding is hard as shit. We saw it last year from Denver. They really had like a lackluster end of the season last year, and it led to them being, I believe, the 2nd seed, and then they ended up losing. So, yeah. Shout out to the Cavs, though. I just wanted to do a quick little video for the Cavs. I know, and I also miss just talking to y'all by myself because the other 2 motherfuckers are stupid. But thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of 1v1 with Ted. I hope to see y'all very soon. I want to record tomorrow. If I do record tomorrow, you're going to see me tomorrow. Make sure to share this with your family, your friends, your mother, your father, your cousin, everybody in your fucking life. Have a great day and peace.